gonna be instantaneous for you. This ain't gonna make any sense to you. I haven't recorded a Mr. Recap thing in a good frackin' 4 months, maybe, man. Let me tell you, anime has been absolute booty cakes. It's been trash. It's been the bottom of the barrel, gutter work. Are we changing that with today's anime? Do you know what channel you're watching? Hell no! We're about to recap the Russian girl anime! Maybe the anime that isn't even known for the Russian girl. It's known for the sister of the main dude who was just an absolute goon! Welcome to Saturday Academy, a school which has never seen a foreigner because anytime one walks in, they all treat that person like a frickin' celebrity, like a goddess. This is Alisa frickin' dang it, dude. I'm not Russian, I don't know what it is. Alisa Mikhailovna Kujo, a half-Japanese transfer student who came from Russia. Ando shoots his shot, does it with this pose, by the way, which is already a clear indication that he wants to be rejected. He asks her for lunch, she doesn't want to, and then instead of turning away like a good boy, he asks her for her number because he thought, oh, clearly she still wants to talk to me after this. Yeah, she rejects that as well. Leaves him in the dust, and the school is left wondering how cool she had to be to do that to the most popular guy. I'm sorry, what? That's the most popular guy? This overgrown pineapple is the best this school produced? No. Let me introduce you to the actual main character here, Kuze Masachika, who she sits beside and is also asleep right now. She wakes him up and asks if he spent the entire night watching anime. Oh boy, he's an otaku. Let me guess, this high standard girl is in love with the Kirito ripoff number 69. He says the anime itself did not take long. He and his buddies had a post-match discussion about it, and she finds that even more detestable. She then secretly calls him cute in Russian, and when he asks what she said, she calls him pathetic. So that's how she hides her feelings in Russian. The teacher asks him a question in class thanks to a useless distraction from her. She even shows him the answer, which turns out to be wrong. And of course, he's mad at her for that, and once again, calls him a cutie. And this time, Kuze understands what she said. Maybe even last time. The dude's putting on a facade. Not only did Kuze understand her there, but he actually just knows Russian quite well thanks to his childhood friend, so he understood everything she thought he didn't understand, and that's the shtick. And for some reason, the dude can't just come out and say, yeah, I can actually understand Russian, you're embarrassing yourself right now, because that would make her feel supremely stupid. They get into a small fiddle regarding the game he plays, and wherever she takes his phone, she notices a character with silver hair. She says that she too has silver hair. Astonishing observation! So because she has silver hair, and then that character also has silver hair, he should be paying more attention to him. Her. I meant her, that last pronoun, I meant her. He needs to start paying more attention to himself. You're looking pretty ragged there, bucko. Kuze surrounds himself with single dudes and Takeshi and Hikaru, who are actually more good-looking than the main character, if you ask me. Okay, maybe not Takeshi, but hey, we can't rule out the bald heads. The student council graces the cafeteria with their presence. Alya is their treasurer. Maria Kujo, her sister, is the secretary. And then we got Suo Yuki, who's the spokesperson. And oh boy, does she speak. The three consider the possibility of Takeshi landing a girl from the council, and the probability is as round as his bald head. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It's as much as the hair molecules on this dude's head. Nada. Zip. Zero! They don't find a place to sit, and after seeing Kuze, Yuki gives a smug smile and sits beside him with Alya sitting right across. Notice how the girls deliberately approach them, and these two fools now have the golden opportunity to make some small talks, but don't do anything! And if I were them, I'd be doing the same exact thing. I am like chronically online. Talking to a person in person? Ha! Miss that! Alya asks if Yuki knows Kuze, since she apparently gets along with him so well. Well, yes, she is his childhood friend, and apparently she's not friends yet with Alya, despite being on the same council. She's been hesitant about making friends until now, but she's open to the idea of being friends with Yuki. Remember what I said about those dudes not taking that opportunity? Yeah, they did not speak a single word, and now they're about to leave. Brother, I feel that so hard. Yuki comes closer to Kuze, and she is obviously trying to make Alia jealous here. Everyone can see it, although the ones who were supposed to just left. She's even given him the proposal to join the student council, but Kuze just hasn't decided on it yet. It's a big decision. This comes from the fact that they went to the same middle school, and Kuze served as the vice president under the presidency of Yuki. Alia is surprised to know that he's quite capable and did an actual good job during his time as student council lackey. She later tries to give him a hard time about being friends with Yuki, but Kuze also considers Alia to be his friend, which instantly puts her back in a good mood. We then get a small flashback of Kuze as a kid, and now he spent his time with this quote-unquote beautiful Russian friend who taught him their language. This was all a dream, apparently, and he wakes up in a reality where he no longer remembers her name. How do you not remember her name? Well, I guess she was Russian. Them names be hard. Sorry, is that racist? So he reaches class, and apparently he and Alia are on cleaning duty today. Well, before she even gets there, the dude has already cleaned everything, left everything sparkling, and dipped. She's ruined her socks thanks to a random puddle on the street. She takes it right off in front of him. This is an uneasy look on his face right here, which prompts her to make him get her spare socks. He gets it for her, and now she has to ask him to put them on for her. No, not on his feet, you frackin' weirdo. On her feet, because that's less weird. She also continually teases him in Russian, and he doesn't let her have her way. So he just, get over here, manhandles her legs, slides the sock right on, and now she's bamboozled. She don't know what to frackin' do. You frackin' asked for it. Apparently, the dude touched a no-no spot on her legs that was too sensitive, and she kicks his head in response. He might have actually, like, went somewhere, like, the forbidden territory that I just don't know about. I forgot what happens here. I wrote this down. He could have done anything there. Just keep that in mind. And then boom, ecchi scene. He sees what he's not meant to see, and yep, this is the show, guys. We got 11 more episodes of this. He apologizes to her later, and she also wants to clear the air since she kicked him so hard. Yeah, maybe she went a little too far and teasing him and trying to get him to put your socks on. He says it's fine since he got a sneak peek. Why the frick would you tell that to her? High five. Kidding. It's bad. Don't do that. I'm not encouraging that behavior. You can't just metaphorically high five a fictional character and then take it. You can't just take backsies that. Oh, familiar. And there's another thing I'm really good at. It's futilely take back. It's saying. It's JKing a situation. If there's one thing you're good at, it ain't speaking. That's for sure. I'm so glad you're back. Anyways. Kiss my metaphorical She runs away in embarrassment, and he follows her around until she finally stops, and he gets his chance to apologize for his apology. What are you, a frackin' YouTuber? Somehow this dude had the exact drink she liked just in his pocket the whole time, and it actually calmed her down. Because people are that easy, apparently. He presents it to her, knee down, still in appreciation of the fact that he was able to see her panties. That ain't going away. She takes it, and after drinking a few sips, she asks in Russian if he wants some too. That was a clear indication of an indirect kiss, but she's still smug that he just can't understand what she's saying because he doesn't speak Russian. Ha 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 ha. And his lesson in self-control continues. By the way, did you know that the dub of Alia is voiced by the same person who voices Ash Ketchum? Uh-huh. I wanted to throw that in somewhere. I thought that was a cool fact. Episode 2 kicks off when we got Kuze helping Yuki down at the storeroom. It takes like 2 seconds for these two to start being silly and acting like a couple, and jealous Elisa has to give them the side eye. Because, of course, she ain't gonna go approach them and actually try to make moves on them. This is fracking episode 2. She even apologizes for being the third wheel. I'm so sorry for being around you two. Tell them to get a room. Even when they're working together, he seems closer to Yuki than like anyone else, which is obvious since they're childhood friends and all. But Alia, whatever the frick, is on a whole new journey of being jealous over here. She asks them to stop chatting and start working before quietly saying, "Come to me," in Russian, which is weird no matter what language you're speaking here. Why the frick would you say "come to me" in this situation? He gets his formal introduction with the president of the student council, Kenzaki, who has already heard of this famous Kuze. He has a great impression of Kuze, and it's only thanks to his his diehard fans who just scream his name in every possible situation. He feels intimidated around the president, and honestly, I don't frickin' say it. He looks like your normal 9-to-5 corporate robot. I would know. He wants to take Kuze out on dinner after all the help. All right, sure, free food, bro. We take that. They go out on like a double date, even though this isn't a date. I don't know if Kanzaki's like, I don't know if he's on that curve, but like, I don't care. Free food's free food. Anyways, it's continuous Kuze praise over here. Like every 2 sentences. Oh, Kuze's so smart. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's so talented. Some of that's coming from Kanzaki, by the way. Surprisingly, his biggest admirer is the only one who doesn't say a word, at least in Japanese anyway. But in Russian, oh boy, come to me. They once again ask him if he wants to be a member of the student council because that's what this is all about. The moment he was invited, this was their only agenda. He learns that Yuki's hoping to run for president and could use his help, and Alia, Elisa, whatever the frick, is on the same track too. She gets the opportunity to walk back with him, and instead of using it to the fullest, she will be an absolute giga chad of a tsundere. He returns home to see his sister waiting, and what the frick? Yuki is his sister? Oh no! I told them to get a room! I mean, technically, not really. If you actually listen to what you said, I don't think. Oh, that's it. Oh, I'm gone. Like, oh, that's over. My career's done after that one. So why are they playing fracking potential lovers in school? Is it just a troller? I bet it's just a troller, isn't it? Yuki says that they're technically just childhood friends since they fit the description of people who grew up together and were friends. Okay. What the frick? Did she just say Wincest? Oh no, no wonder why the internet's blowing up over this person. That's crazy. She just said Wincest. That's crazy. That's the official sub? Dude, brain rot has infested our anime officially now. It's over. It's over. It didn't even matter if my career got shot in the foot just then. Anime is dead, and we're dying with it. Kill me now. So yeah, these two are siblings, and now they're on a date. New day, new date, right? And they go out shopping as to when they are spotted by private investigator Alia. Yuki has changed her appearance to her normal school attire, and Alia could be under the impression that Kuze is a ladies' man. He wonders how he should tackle this problem, and she has the answer. Just go to her straight and talk it out. The thing that no one does in anime. She knows they caught her red-handed, but she still says, what a coincidence, because you can't look uncool. You just can't, no matter what happens. You have no idea. Yuki brings her to that restaurant, something that Kuze didn't want to take her to, but now here they are. She was even more curious after seeing him resist so vehemently. Maybe she should have listened to the dude, because this place is named Hell's Cauldron. And for a place named after literal hell, everyone looks kind of chill here. Can't be that bad, right? Except the menu is filled with items from hell. And by that, I mean hell is a part of the naming scheme. Like everything is named hell something. Hell fries, hell shake. Oh, you're just gonna get some hell sauce with my hell burger? It's just pretty patties. It's just a frackin' red sandwich. Just the most frackin' underwhelming. Anyway, they all choose Pool of Blood Hell. That's better than the Hell Burger I've had. By the way, this is a ramen shop, so like, that's ramen they're ordering. She notices that Yuki is dressed much like a dude this time around, and she wants to take this day off and have private time without people bothering her, which is exactly what Alia did. She casually mentions that she was in his bed in the morning and just picked up one of his shirts. The ramen looks exactly the way it sounds, by the way, and Alia is already scared of the sight of it. I would be too. She takes her first bite and goes straight to the middle of July. It's so hot it lights her aflame. It's hot. She lies to him about liking it, but he doesn't need to know Russian this time to understand her. While they're enjoying their meal, she squeals in Russian about how much it just fracking hurts. Yuki notices how bad it is for her, but since she continues to lie about how good it is, she suggests adding more spice and making it just that much better. The look of dread on this girl's face, whereas Alia thinks Yuki is genuinely wanting her to have a good time. You just gotta feel bad for her at this point. The sister finally fracking leaves, leaving him alone with Alia, who's barely in the mood to talk or do anything. I wouldn't even say that. She just physically can't because like she's been absolutely burned alive. So he buys her some ice cream and they find themselves near a park, and he asks her randomly, hey, why do you want to be president? Again, she gets defensive and asks him if there's any reasons why she would not be aiming for a presidency. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but like, you clearly made up your mind. They need a running mate to be eligible, and right now she doesn't have one, but it's not like the most popular girl in school would have any difficulty finding anyone. She then says, if only you would, in Russian, which kind of hurts Kuze's feelings, which I don't know why. Like, did he not want to hear that? Or Was he like, oh, you should just ask me? Well, I don't think he really liked her like that. Like, I feel like he should. Like, this is the power couple, right? Like, these are the romantic interests. But, like, I don't feel like he likes her. Take a shot every time you say like, frick. What has he done to show interest? What, thirst over her? That's not liking her. After she was thirst baiting him? Come on. Anyway, she asks if he's got any plans after this. She wants his help with something, and he knows that she's actually a loner with no friends. Somehow. So he tags along in shopping with her. She thinks he's being nice only because he feels bad for her and her presidential obsession, which honestly, I'm pretty sure is the case. Like, this dude, it's just like, I don't know if cynical is the word, lackadaisical. He just don't fracking care, bro. Suddenly we get a changing room scene where she tries on some new outfits, which earns her a lot of praise from him, like a lot. And then she starts thinking about it. Oh my gosh, she's praising me. Finally, let's keep going. The animation here also, stunning. He tried his best to hide the embarrassment, but Kuze is just as emotional about this as she is for some reason. Emotional is a weird word to use here, but like, yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm crying tears of joy. He's not doing that, but like, you know. She's impressed that he has it in him to compliment a girl, and same. All men are born with that ability, but it's just like, I'm surprised it probably was just off of impulse. Like, you're so attractive. Oh, man. What's wrong? Getting emotional? This is it. The most scandalous outfit that she's tried on so far. This is it. This is the big reveal. And his sister's here now. And that's how episode 2 ends. Episode 3 kicks off, and Maria the Mind Reader reads the most obvious expression of embarrassment and bliss in Alya's face. She says that she just met Kuze and his childhood friend, and his name is kinda enough for Maria to understand the full picture. She asks if she really likes him, and Alya lies as easily as she breathes, claiming him to just be a friend. She recalls the memories of how they became friends, and it all started when Alya was still a kid. Her teachers split the class in groups for a specific project, and her teammates seemed like they were great initially. She did her part and visited nearby shops to collect data like a future research analyst, except they don't have that smile on their face, and they're not as sweet as she is. Some of them! I had one bad experience with a future research analyst, and I just went bazonkers. I hate them now. Bias in a nutshell. Enthusiastic little Alya asked her buddies about their part, and they have not even started. She urges them to hurry. They probably won't listen. She even gets angry and asks them to take this seriously while they tell her to chillax. It may mean something to you, but I don't care. It wouldn't even matter if your family was on the line. I would kill them. I'd kill them all. Just to illustrate the fact that I don't care about your feelings. I don't know what just came over me there, but we're gonna keep going. On to her life in the first year of high school, and that's where she first met Kuze, who was still asleep. What do you mean still asleep? Has he been asleep his entire life? They were off to a good meeting first, but it probably took a day or two for her to realize that Kuze is a generational slacker. School festival came around the corner, and everyone looked confused with all the work in their hands. Alya stayed behind to finish extra part of the work, and she once again felt like she was the only one putting in any type of effort at all. Kuze asks her to leave and handle the rest tomorrow, but she insists on staying behind, even with all those wounds on her hands. He somehow got the handicraft clubs to help out with the costumes and used his diplomatic skills to ease their overall workload. I can now see why the student council wants this dude. That's insane. What the frick? How long did that take him? Your social level is off the charts. What? Alya just cannot believe he had such abilities. Neither can I. He was on a roll, winning her over with all of his efforts, but he ends up saying that there's no point in her going the extra mile. Just get other people to do it for you. I don't care about your family. I don't care. I don't care at all. Screw them. Yeah, screw them. I'll kill them all. They ain't gonna stand a chance. Just to tell you that there's absolutely no point in you trying in this world. Zero points. You will end up just like your family. Okay. Whoa. I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what's happening. Am I getting possessed? Familiar. For the last time, I am not a ghost. Anyway, yeah, stop trying, Alya. She finds that offensive and gets up with a temper, claiming that she's gonna do what she wants to do she's gonna make the better attraction. Okay, win off. Pop off, queen. Pour all that frustration out. She's had it built up since your childhood, including the things that she probably wanted to say to those kids back then. I completely understand. He quickly shuts her down and says that she's putting her effort in the wrong place. And it's never about making a great attraction, but doing everything as a team. Well, what if your team members don't fucking care? What are you supposed to do, Mr. Oh High and Mighty Wisdom Lord? Fucking nothing! You have to overwork yourself! Not all of us have infinite social charisma like you do and can get anyone to do anything you freaking want! I'm okay. I'm okay. That was built up from childhood. But alas, she doesn't say anything of what I just said. She says, but, no follow-up to that. He then apologizes, even when he knew he was right, just so the lady could have a good night's sleep. Life isn't an anime, Fricker. You can't actually use the power of teamwork to solve everything, because not everyone wants to work as a team. The next day, everyone is magically extra motivated and all the plans go smoothly. Everything's in motion. They all work together somewhat under Kuze's supervision, and the festival day finally arrives. They had a blast. Everyone started dancing at the fire. Alia chose to be with Kuze and even asks if she could sit with him. He is surprised to see that she's not dancing, since that would be the first person that everyone would ask to dance with, but he thinks that she doesn't know how to because of that. She actually practiced ballet before this and just doesn't know that. She knows how to dance. She just don't want to. She didn't even find it a bother to turn down so many requests because rejection for a girl like that is as normal as respiration. He then tells her that her nickname as the Ice Queen is justified, something that she was not aware of. She doesn't like the name, especially the princess bit, the queen bit, the royalty bit, as it makes her sound like a spoon-fed kid, which to some degree, I'm kind of sure she is. She goes on to explain how she is not someone with privileges and fights for everything she has, including an attitude. Finally, we get to the better part, and she thanks him for correcting her when she was wrong. I don't think she was entirely wrong, but okay. Kuze is too nice and asks her to let this slide and enjoy her festival like any normal kid does. She is insistent on being sorry and wants to pay him back in a tangible way. Money! Money! Moolah! I don't want your feet! I want your wallet! He's not sure if he wants anything, but she insists on it and says that he doesn't have the choice to refuse. So what if he wants to refuse and that's the only form of favor that he wants? Like, how does that logic work? Does it negate her initial claim? Because that would... Kuze said that he'd like to call her by her nickname, Alia, which is sort of a Russian custom. She wonders what he'd gain for something like that, and the man just wants that clout. Everyone in the class would call her by her formal name, and he just wants to be the one that doesn't have to do that. See what I mean? He's not doing it so we can get closer to her. He just wants the bragging rights of calling her by her fracking nickname. And you could argue, oh, he's just not admitting it, and he's just trying to be cool about it. Now, I mean, like, what sort of evidence is there for that? 3 boys show up before them with the courage to ask her to a dance, and come on, guys, really? Look at this. Look at what you're looking at here. There's already a dude here, even if they're not, like, actually, like, dating or getting it on or anything like that. Like, why would you fracking do that? You think you're Mr. Steal Your Girls? Please. You Mr. Steal Your STDs. What the frick am I talking about? She finds it difficult to outright decline them. Why? You have had no problems doing that in the past, but okay. Kuze takes her away, does the dance with her, and cool, they have a good time. Maria hears the entirety of the story, and she comes to the most logical conclusion. Alia likes Kuze. I don't know how she thought sharing such a private personal story between the two of them, and one with such sentimental values, no less, would lead Maria to believe anything less. She does say, though, that he is a pretty capable guy, worthy of her trust, and I'm still on the fence about that. Kuze has his first meeting with Maria and the student council, and she feels somewhat familial when she hears his family name and holds his hands. She stares at him for a good 10 seconds after hearing his name, and this has given me some forgotten childhood friend vibes. The president wants him to accompany her with some shopping for the student council. They sure want this guy no matter what, involved in literally every single aspect of everything. So much so that they're using him as a frackin' errand boy, even when he's not a part of the council. The shopping goes completely off the frackin' wall as Maria keeps getting distracted with stuffed toys instead of things that they came to get. She wants to pick up plushies representing each member of the council. So, what the frick, are you telling me there's like a tired father who works 10 hours a day to feed their frackin' kids plushie too? Because that would be perfect for the president. The next stop is a tea shop where Kuze is suddenly reminded of his sad childhood when his parents suddenly decided to live separately. A visible gloom pops up on his face and Maria gives him a comforting hug. Yeah, this hug is really comfortable. He finds her embrace pretty familiar, warm, comforting, comfortable too, unaware that the tea on her hand is vaporizing right onto the back of his neck. They get back to the club where the president's waiting for their arrival in much anticipation. He's relieved to have sent Kuze with him because if it had only been Maria, the student council would have been turned into a dollhouse immediately. It's like everything this guy does eventually leads him to asking if Kuze wants to join the student council. Like, everything's gotta lead back to this specifically. Maria thinks he can join on paper if he doesn't mind helping occasionally. You know, they can just look for another candidate who actually wants to join instead of trying to lull a guy who don't want to. Truly, Kuze ain't that worth it. I mean, like, maybe I just don't know the guy.
Well, the president believes that he's got what it takes to be a true good member since he has a proven track record of serving on the council before. He thinks that is the exact reason why he doesn't want to do it again. My guy was so through with Kuze continually declining that he pulled out a backstory about himself. Long story short, the president used to be a chubby kid who looked like a loser. He fell in love with a girl and transformed into a daddy, which eventually led to the rise of the president of the student council, aka him. This is the plot's way of saying Kuze will also join the council for similar reasons eventually, because other than that, no one else is interested in the president and his love life. At least let this guy leave and think for himself. They just continue to add, join the council, join the council. After every sentence like this is some kind of cult. Yeah, it's like I said, right here he says it's fine for Kuze to join the student council just so he can make someone else the president. It's a very suspenseful foreshadowing here, like we don't know who that is. Alisa is with the basketball and soccer club who are in a dispute regarding playing space. Her words are not taken seriously in the matter of sports despite her position as the most popular girl in the school, supposedly. The captains of both teams are seated on the chair with their ears wide open, eyes closed. You think these two are telepathically communicating about finding a solution, but no, they might as well just be asleep because nothing ever comes out of these two.
No one listens to Alya, who feels helpless and remembers her past when she had to do it all by herself. She begins to cry and cries out for help in Russian, and guess who heard her? Kuze, who happened to be there at the exact moment that she said all that. He's now going to be claiming to be from the student council general affairs. His mere presence sets the tone differently, and somehow everyone waits to listen to what the council has to say. Like, Alisa had not been standing there for 10 minutes talking to them initially. He heard her trying to control the situation and decided to leave her alone until she spoke in Russian, which triggered his main character instincts. He brings the same solution that has probably been brought 3 times now, but no one was in the mood to listen. The moment he speaks, the manager of the soccer team offers to help the other team with the relocation process. The simps on the basketball team like the idea of those cute managers helping them out, and they immediately agree to the solution. Holy frick, Kuze solves the whole problem in less than 100 words, leaving Alya speechless, which she already was. He apologizes for getting into her affairs and making her look incompetent. Yeah, it didn't take a lot. She asks why he'd make a proposal that the baseball team wouldn't agree to, and Kuze was aware that the manager of the soccer team and the captain of the baseball team were dating, so his proposal would trigger the help that normally those managers would not offer. Okay, so he's also the hub for romance information around the school. Got it. Okay. She knew that he had this information since Kuze was staring at the manager the moment he stepped foot inside the room. This was also the reason why the baseball team captain did not utter a word throughout this whole confrontation. He put his girl before the team. Respect. In the end, Kuze thinks it is a good common ground for both teams, especially the baseball team, who get to work with cute girls. The president waits for them and asks if they're able to find a conclusion. Of course, he intentionally sent Alisa there first so she could get humiliated and sent Kuze afterwards to make the save. And as I said before, in everything this guy does, he has been pulling the strings in hopes that Kuze would join the student council. He once again asks if Kuze has now made up his mind to join the council, and the dude finally gives in. I mean, how could he not at this point? They've been up his butt for the whole episode trying to scratch a spot. He clearly did not want to get scratched. He later tells her he played right into the president's lap, but he didn't mind. She asks if he's really planning to join, and if he is, then would he help Yuki become the president? He says he might, and Alya has no problem fighting against Kuze if it gets her the student council position, so that takes some real nerve to say, and you know what? Respect. He likes her answer because of course he does. Anything else that would make it seem like she simps for him. We can't let that happen. Kuze was only testing her, and he's actually going to be her running mate during the elections now that she has said that. I gotta say, they really ham up this moment of him extending his hand to her, and the change in her expression is low-key cringe, but I'll take it because it's a little bit wholesome at the same time, and I just don't know how to cope with wholesome moments. She says something in Russian after grabbing his hand, which reminds him of his childhood love, and somehow she senses it. Thinking about a different woman while grabbing someone else's hand is worthy of a slap. And that's exactly what he gets. Even though they're not seeing each other, it's not official, the slaps still keep on coming. He's left dumbfounded, and she don't know why they reacted that way to a mere cheek kiss. We later find out that Alya said, "I love you" to Kuze in Russian, and now she has to be all tsundere about it. Such a dead trope, dude. You literally said you're in love with him to his face, man. I mean, I know she don't know that he knows, but like, and it's funny how that's the one phrase Kuze failed to understand when everything else, oh no, everything's just fine to that. But no, the confession, we can't let that goose slip early. Goose. She even thinks of a situation where if she did confess to him, actually, what would she do if he rejected her? That won't happen. Maria comes home, and it takes her one glance at her sister's face to know that she has fallen for him. She can say with confidence that Kuze's a good guy, and it's probably okay for Alisa to feel that way. Kuze walks along thinking how he could not sound more cringe than he did when he said, "Shut up and take my hand." Bro tried his best to look cool. He did in her eyes, but in his own eyes, he just came up looking like a real dork. Bro, yeah.
Turns out he actually did hear the part where she said that she loved him and wondered if all this time she had been flirting with him for realsies. He convinced himself that she only said that in the heat of the moment, and then she'll start cringing about it the very next day. This guy sure has a bad habit of suddenly remembering moments from his past related to his parents and their broken relationship. That has nothing to do with the previous sentence. I'm moving at 1,000 miles a second if you can't tell. He saw his mother lose her mind over his dad firsthand, and so young Kuze has a very pessimistic view on love. I completely understand that, brother. He returns home to see Yuki's already there and walks in on her while she's naked. I forgot I was watching an anime for a second until I saw that. Not just that, though. She intentionally set that up to happen and isn't even mad about him doing it. Well, how could you be mad when you intentionally set this up to begin with? Unless you were trying to get mad on purpose and give yourself a valid reason, even though it's quite the invalid reason if you did set that up on purpose anyways. She doesn't even let him leave and clarifies why she did this, and the reason is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my entire life. They've lived for years, and she's not had a moment where he walked in on her, so it just had to happen at least one time. She broke the fourth wall too. Deadpool sure got some level of influence on her. What is that? What is Gwenpool? She accuses him of being a perv who totally checked her out from top to bottom, which first off, ew. Second off, ew. On different levels here, because that is just awful. It is awful. Instead of, scolding her for making things even weirder than they already were, he explains that men are more likely to find a sneak peek more sensual than just blatant showmanship. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if what he said is right or not. This isn't the time. She asks if Maria and the president finally talked him into joining, but Kuze doesn't hide his intention of not just joining the council. He straight up says he'll be supporting Alya and her presidential run. You'd think that she'd have a more serious reaction to this, but nah, she just calls herself a defeated cuck. And then, as if on cue to make my life more of a living hell than it already is, she asks him if her C-cups are not enough for him. They're blood related. Just in case you figures want to pull the they're not blood related card, they are. So you can't even say that this time. And then she jokingly invites him to have a touch. Dude, come on, man. Throw this fricker in perv jail. He declines her offer, of course. But she vividly remembers that one time in elementary school when he totally did it. What? Why are we having this conversation? Can we get on with the plot, man?
When will you learn this is the plot?
According to her, they bumped into each other and Kuze worked his way up from the thighs all the way to the opie. Okay, tell it to the judge, ma'am. She's totally lying, of course, and he catches her trying to gaslight him into thinking that he's team incest. That was so cursed. I don't want there to be oh, frick, I regret saying that immediately. As a punishment for being real and honest, she asks him to do her hair and finally gets into a normal talking mood. Now she sounds like she's somewhat hurt by his decision to support Alya. She takes it as a simple sibling rivalry, but she's more than willing to take him back should he decide to betray Alisa. But he says he won't do that, but she's right about one thing. At the end of the day, he's got to come back home. He wakes up the next morning and she's not there to wake him up in classic little sister fashion, quote unquote, in terms of anime standards. He thinks his decision might have hurt her, but it turns out she was just hiding under the bed to pull his leg. She gets stuck inside the small opening, and instead of helping her out, he buries her inside. Honestly, leave her there. Alisa waits for Kuze's arrival and breathes a sigh of relief whenever he does turn up. She thinks he's directly going to walk up to his bench, take his seat, go back to sleep like he always does. That don't happen this time. In fact, he looks a lot more radiant in her eyes, to a point where the dude is literally sparkling. She even has thoughts in her mind that suggest he looks attractive. He looked so different to her that she was led to believe he might be making changes and stepping up his game to match her intensity. Trust me, no one can match your intensity. Actually, never mind. I should be saying that about his sister. She then slams a great serve and watches Kuze get murdered on the other side of the court. She gets worried and comes to see him outside. He says he's fine, but still she checks his temperature and Kuze checks something else. He remembers what Yuki had to say about Alya in her... Why are we focusing here? This is the plot. Familiar's right.
You figure this out now?
Goes to get some water, finds her there as well. It's too hot for him to handle. He soaks his head completely wet. Maria finds him staring at the sky, trying to keep his composure with everything that's going on right now. He doesn't have a towel, so Maria does the courtesy of not just lending hers, but drying his head by herself. Wow. What?
She obviously gets jealous and wants to take him away from Maria's clutches. He thought that she'd call him creepy for engaging with Maria like that, but she's only worried about his head. He once again says that he's fine, but she insists on checking up on him. Kuze is doubtful about this nice behavior and asks if there's any particular reason she's being so nice to him. She says that he's not been himself lately and has her worried. Dude said he just missed breakfast in the morning, slept like a log all night. She's furious that this guy could sleep so well without a care after what transpired between them the other evening. He was intentionally pissing her off to get her back for her usual foul mood, and boy, is it working. Is the rage bait successful? Just like Zero Healing Rocket on Marvel Rivals. Sorry, it's my latest obsession. Boy, oh boy, if we could recap video games.
Thinking about Emma Frost again.
Guilty as charged. Anyway, she got a little too mad, and he follows her around to apologize before they see a bunch of guys running down the hall. They met Sadashina, the VP, who has a reputation for being a hard butt. You know, my reputation of not cursing makes it sound really cringe when I say hard butt. What you got installed in there? Cinder blocks? The president describes her as a person who chooses violence as the main form of solution to any dispute. Kuze thinks that those two look really good together, but then Sadashina does not stop hitting him, and he wonders if that's really the case. No, I think they're plenty adorable together. I mean, she beat his shoulder up and then offered to fix it back. Somehow. Maria and Yuki come along and break the awkwardness in the room. They all gather there to have their first formal meeting since Kuze joined the council. The president asks him to make an introduction, though he is well known amongst all the female members. Not only does he say his name and his current position, but also discloses his intention to support Alisa next year as her running mate. And then the next episode happens. They do that introduction again, but now he's talking about anime and closet otaku stuff. Why? Anyway, after completely normal reactions to that, they immediately get to distributing the workload amongst them since the student council is very short-staffed. I can see why they were dying to bring Kuze in now. Yuki plays her cards and plans to take Alya with her to an art exhibit, and he can already sense something bad's about to happen. Nothing good ever happens at an art exhibit. She walks behind Yuki, and after sensing the visible tension in the air, she asks to have a talk with her. They enter an empty room, which normally would mean something else given the history of our channel, but this time, it's genuinely just a talk. She says that she's planning to run for president with Kuze as her mate. Alya is well aware of the situation, but still thinks that she did nothing wrong. Yuki knows about this, and she felt the need to tell it in person, or she felt the need to flex in person, if you were to word it honestly. She says that she regrets the fact that Kuze didn't choose him, although I'm sure you guys can't hear her right now, but Yuki's voice when she addresses Alya is so much more different than when she talks with Kuze. It's not just the tone. The voice itself is that of a different person. That is some baller voice acting, first off, and second off, yeah, that... You done diddly did me. Alisa is about to ask if she loves him, but backs down, leaving for Yuki to come out and say it herself. She even doubles down and says that she loves him more than anyone else in the world. The villainous expression on her face is just the perfect touch to this whole scene. She goes as far as to say that she loves him more than her parents, then asks Alya if she can match that same intensity. She pushes Alya for a clear answer on whether she has the same feelings as Kuze. Obviously, Alya don't have a clear response to it, and she says that he is a dear friend. She talks back without disclosing her answer, but she still says that she won't let Yuki have him, and that Kuze is hers. This almost felt like a fight between the two, but it somehow ends with both of them getting on first name bases. So a win's a win, I guess. Kuze spends his day with Maria, more commonly known as Masha, apparently. She is very efficient at what they do, and he describes her as a well-oiled machine, which is freaking whack. On the other hand, Chisaki's the exact opposite, like a slug, a not well-oiled machine. So they somehow balance the overall work efficiency of the student council. Frickin' fire her, then! President sends her away on some useless business to make some room for civil conversation and logic inside the council. That would be a first. He apologizes to Kuze about how clumsy Chisaki is. Masha is more or less rubbing off on me as the heart and soul of the council. She does her work promptly, fella helps Kuze find out his errors, and even offers to make some tea for everyone. Tea break!
So, Frick, is that actually tea?
Yeah. Why?
I didn't know you had that on.
She asks him about his preference for tea and jam, and they somehow talk about Russian products. He comes off as someone who knows a lot about Russian culture, but of course Kuze has to lie about his interest in Russian movies. Wait, what type of lame excuse is that? Who even watches Russian movies?
Russians?
In reality, Kuze really wants to talk to that girl and almost took Russian as his mother tongue. The tea somehow reminds him of his mother as well. Speaking of mothers, he's not particularly happy about her memories of, should have just ended the sentence there, but it didn't. I just had to talk more, apparently. The other two return from their small petty quarrel, and Alisa has visible anger on her face. She scoots over to sit near him and says it's a Russian tradition for a woman to avoid sitting near corners. I did not know that. Is that real? I don't watch Russian movies, I wouldn't know. He knows that's not the reason since she's just too close. Masha teases her for finding someone who she wants to marry and says that it's not her time to marry. In Russian, of course, but Kuze's right there to hear it all anyway. The student council lets the first years leave early and he walks together with Alya, who still has some gloom on her face. He can definitely tell that Yuki did something that Alya did not like. He asks her to stop by a cafe to discuss their upcoming presidential election, but his main motive is to take her mind off the ever-villainous Yuki. He directly asks her if something happened with Yuki, and the way she denies it makes him believe something bad definitely happened. She asks if Kuze is dating her, and he has to reveal a few things about Yuki, including her monkey nature. Odd phrasing. Could've just called her rambunctious. He distracts her from the Yuki subject and says they currently have zero chance to take her down if they let things stand as they are. He gives her a quick recap of just how good Yuki's chances are, starting from their time in middle school, where Yuki was as effective and popular as one could really get. She's so good, in fact, that they barely have any candidates coming up for the election. Everyone has given up on their hopes of taking down Yuki. Kuze is all business here. He's just collecting the facts, laying them down for her square and center, trying to evaluate what their chances are really. She's not impressed with the serious mode, wants them to be more conscious of the fact that he's inside a cafe, alone, with a girl, sharing a drink. It sounds like a Maroon 5 song. She completely ignores what he has to say and starts munching on the cream. She completely disregarded all the important things he had to say until now and focuses on getting him in the mood to munch on cream. She offers him a bite with the same spoon that she was munching on. He can't even say no because she just said that the parfait looked nice. I don't get what that means. He tries his best to avoid eating from the same spoon though, but she really wants him to eat from that particular spoon, like she really wants him to. Even going up to his face and forcing his mouth open, borderline assault. She finally makes him take a bite, and Kuze's ecstatic over the indirect kiss featuring their tongues. They finally get back to talking strategy. He doesn't want to face Yuki head on. He thinks they should take the example of how President Kanazaki won his election last year, despite having no experience in middle school. He came on from a different strategy that appealed to the students without clashing with the more experienced candidates. Their conversation was going well until both of their eyes landed upon the spoon she was using, and neither of them knew what to do with it. Give it back to the place, throw it away. He goes as far as to order something new and get a fresh spoon off of it just so they can avoid another indirect kiss. She teases him for being a baby who would get flustered over sharing a spoon with with someone who he's not romantically seeing. Cooties is a real epidemic these days. But they're getting clearly pompous when she would just do the exact same thing if the roles were reversed. The first thing they want to do is build a good background story around her, and the best time to do it would be at the end of the first term during the student council address. She's not sure about her speech, but he thinks that she should just go up and speak. She's already a captivating enough person as is. He offers to share his food with her, and it looks too spicy, but she doesn't want him to think that she dislikes spicy food, even though she low-key does. I don't, that's not a... You can dislike things. You could have just backed down here, but Kuze decides to play with her a little and lets her have at it. Oh, that dastardly villain. I don't know if he rubbed off on Yuki or she rubbed off on him. Ew. 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 Normally that's a normal thing to say, but just consider... This fracking character got my mind in the gutter 24/7.
Is that what you're gonna tell the judge? You're gonna blame the anime. Yeah, that'll do it.
Kuze definitely does not want Yuki to pick up Taniyama as her running mate since they already have a history of working together and it would make things far worse for them. Sorry, the tea. Oh, the tea is coming back to bite me.
You know, burping lowers viewer retention?
Really?
Yeah, and I think you have something to do with that.
Much to their surprise, Yuki brings a brand new face in Ayano, a first-year student that Kuze also finds to be a threat. Ayano starts following Kuze around after her introduction and lurks behind him even in the hallways. She asks for his time and leads her somewhere without even caring what it's about. As I predicted, Kuze definitely knew her before this, and as he claims, she hasn't really changed much. She wanted to lead him inside a room, but he stopped them out of here and says that she was aware of his decision to help Alisa. She says that the head of the family is very unhappy about that decision. Wait a minute, the head of whose family? The head is asking why Kuze is still getting in the way of the Suo family, even though they've separated for quite a while now. He remembers this old dude who explicitly told him Kuze should not identify himself as a Suo, and he also was prohibited from revealing that Yuki is in fact his sister. Ayane was not particularly sent out here by them to diss Kuze. She's here of her own accord as Yuki's retainer. She still thinks that Kuze would never do anything that would put Yuki in harm's way, which we were able to confirm in the last few episodes when Yuki wanted to lead him into every
assaulting manner possible.
He says his opposing position against Yuki was not his choice, it was just some unavoidable circumstance. Even so, Kuze thinks the situation is important enough for him to actively go against Yuki like that. He says he has no romantic feelings for Alisa and is doing this because he just wants to, which is similar to admitting that he has romantic feelings for her. With this, Kuze has a message to their grandfather: just die already. Okay, I'm kidding, he didn't say that. He didn't. He just doesn't want him to blame Yuki and come to Kuze if he's got any complaints. Arine asks if his views on Yuki have changed lately, but no, Kuze still considers her the most important person in his world. I totally forgot his friends were also characters in the show, by the way. How long has it been since we last saw them? They've literally not appeared since the first episode. I don't even know the Baldy's name. I'm just gonna call him Baldy because I have no respect for bald people.
Karma is gonna make it so that you become bald in like 5 or so years.
Yeah, and my statement will still stand.
What about cancer patients who undergone chemo?
They don't count.
Why don't they count? They're bald, so no?
No, because cancer patients are way stronger than I will ever be. Their baldness is a testament to how much they've gone through. Normal bald people, they just bald because they think it looks cool.
Or their hair was falling out and they had no choice.
Can I get back to the recap now? Like, we've been on this for quite some time.
Lost.
The trio discussed the cover of a dirty magazine rating their interest in girls. Can we go back to the bald discussion? They suspect him of liking a girl who's similar to Masha and even tease him for using her nickname. I mean, it's only natural for that to happen since the student council spent half their time resources to get this guy on board. Aldia catches him holding the magazine and gives him an absolute look of disgust. She sits right beside them and they continue to ask him dating questions like if he's ever gonna consider dating Suo. I mean, if the tag was different, maybe that'd be a good route to go down, but he says no. And yes, it's my opinion too. I don't want to see it. I totally do. Anyways, he says he'd like to date someone that he can be friends with first, I guess. And Alisa quietly says, do you mean someone like me? In Russian, of course. She was feeling the momentum for a while before they shifted their interests to approachable people with a cute smile and good attitude. And Alia knows that she don't really qualify there. Why not? I mean, she got that. He asks them to say something nice and make it up to Alia, who looks hurt. Baldy here gets on his seat and is very specific with his compliments, which ruins her mood more than before. Aino goes to report her findings to Yuki, who don't turn back if for some reason. Aino says that she was impressed with his answer enough to make her uterus tremble. She said that. She actually said that. The voice that saved my head. Yuki asks if Aino is actually in love with Kuze. She says yes, without really understanding the question. She clarifies that it's the same admiration she has for Yuki and that she has no romantic feelings. She'd rather be more content being used as a tool, which leads to Yuki to believe that she's a super masochist, even dubbing her a Super M. Super M. Was that racist?
Might want to avoid Twitter for the next few days.
Me next?
I'm gonna hunt you down. I'm gonna hunt you down and you're never gonna be able to speak ever again. Call me Karma.
Yuki ends up saying the M stands for maid. It's super maid. She's a super maid. Alright, guys. We're good, right? She finally relays the most important bit of information to Yuki, the part where Kuze told her Yuki is still the most important person to him. She immediately runs to the window and scares me a little like, whack! I thought she was about to jump out of excitement. Oni-chan said he loves me! I'm gonna jump out the window now! Yay! Really wearing your feelings, your emotions, and your intentions out on your sleeve there. Super menace! Yuki was so overwhelmed with these emotions, she didn't know what to do, decided to trick us into thinking that she was achieving nirvana. I don't even know what nirvana is. I just think it's a band because I know nothing about cultures that aren't mine. Yuki doesn't find Kuze's opposition. In fact, she enjoys it because she doesn't consider Alia much opposition. Aina's very blunt about the freshman's opinion and they are very much sure about Yuki's win and just treat Alia like a transfer student who has no idea what the frick she doing. Yuki sees this as a chance to finally beat her brother in something, and as it turns out, Kuze is actually somewhat of a prodigy. Big shocker there. So wait, she's subtly calling Alia to be a handicap in this challenge? She then turns back, gives an unbearably cringe pose that I can't help but respect anyway, and asks Aino if she just looked like a final boss. That's it. Next time I download a dating app, the bio, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm the final boss.
Might as well say I'm going to stay a virgin for the rest of my life.
Okay, I get it.
I mean, what are you going to tell them next that you're Mr. Recap? Goodbye, career.
The student council girls play some cards with chocolates and food as stakes. Alia can feel hostility from Yuki, even in this simple game of cards. She's pretty good though, and takes all the Alice's Kit Kats away. The rest of them praise Yuki and her gambling skills, and they think Alia is too easy to read for them. The president's not aware of her expressive behavior and calls her even more emotional than Masha, who already behaves like a teddy bear all the time. So Tashima thinks Masha has a loose screw or something, which is exactly what Kuze thinks of her too. Everyone here has got a loose screw, even Kuze. This dude, I'm starting to think that his sister got her menace behavior from him. Kuze explains the background of Ayano's upbringing, basically calling her a servant to Yuki in the most polite and classy manner possible. Ayano adds that she admired her grandparents so much she decided to become a retainer when she was in the 2nd grade, which honestly I think should classify as child abuse, because there's no way a child like that, at that point, could no way make an educated decision about their future like that. That is some serious stuff.
Careful, say another opinion and people might think you're getting political. Why don't you learn more about her first before you judge her life choices, Mr. Recap?
The others get up and pour some juice, but these two are still very much invested in the game, although I'm quite sure Alia has not even won once. They run out of drinks and Masha baits Kuze into going with her to buy some more. He asks everyone for their preference, and they all answer instantly with different choices, and Kuze, prodigy he is, remembers it all in one go. Masha thanks him for running as Alice's running mate when she had no one to lean on, and I wonder why. Maybe because she's too busy playing the popular girl? She never really talks with a serious tone like this when she's around Alia. And Kuze asks if she's deliberately being goofy. She's aware of Alia's serious nature, so she'd rather not be competitive and ruin it for her sister. Masha's explanation of sisters makes him think about his own relationship with his sister, which is like one step away from getting me classified as
what?
I wanted to say canceled, but like I felt like I've been saying canceled too much, so then I say classified, and then I'm like, I don't like where this is going, and then I kept saying things, and I have a history of like digging my own like holes, don't I?
And I get a front row seat? Lucky me.
Sayaka Taniyama from Class F. Yeah, remember that. Class F student asks Alia for her time. She asks if she's really going to join the presidential election with Kuze. And here I had to stop and ask why they're pretending this is almost as big as the U.S. presidential election, where the whole world places bets on a whole country's future. Taniyama finds this the most repulsive since Yuki wanted Kuze to be her partner, and now Alia has stolen him away from her. Taniyama finds it weird that she would choose pathetic Kuze and thinks that she only did it to tick off Yuki. Kuze comes to ask what's going on, and Taniyama just randomly challenges him to a general meeting. What is even happening here? She intends to kick him out of the election and the student council itself. Uh-oh. The president carefully examines the terms of the general meeting, and he asks if their agenda is to introduce a teacher review process. Kuze is aware that they're targeting him since he has a bad reputation with teachers. The president's not sure if they should do it since it won't add anything to their resume, but Alisa thinks otherwise. She wants to defeat her fair and square in an attempt to progress her reputation against the formidable Yuki. There's that, but she also wants to get back at her as Taniyama was quite aggressive with her insults toward Kuze and herself. Kuze, as always, is one step ahead and prepares a list of probable claims that Taniyama will make. He wants Alia to prepare proper arguments to refute all of her claims. She can't help but ask if he's on bad terms with Taniyama, which is a natural question when someone just comes out of the blue and starts attacking you for no reason. No, but I mean, really though, Taniyama got butthurt for no reason through shade Kuze, who was doing a visibly good job in the council. He doesn't recall anything like that though. In fact, they got along well in middle school and were members of the same council. He believes that Taniyama is under the false assumption that Kuze is disrupting this election for his own amusement. I mean, she's not completely wrong there. This comes from the fact that he was supposed to be Yuki's partner, but now that he changed sides and joined her direct opponent, Taniyama thought Kuze was just messing around. There's still no reason to call him out like that and try to sabotage whatever these two were hoping for. They are then greeted by Nonua Miyamai, who is going to be Taniyama's partner for the debate. She is a Gyaru, so don't raise your bars too high for expectations. Kuze describes her to be this genius who's always like at the top of their game, but no matter what you say, they still Gyaru, and her Gyaru antics will get the better of her eventually. They still treat this general meeting as the most important thing in the world, like looking at this hall, look at the seating, look at the atmosphere. This almost feels like a courtroom hearing of a high-profile case. Alisa stands on the stage second-guessing herself, and the crowd is not really helping her confidence either. Kuze asks her if she's really an E-cup. Why are you asking now? Brother asking the questions that matter when they matter the most. Clearly. Gaming! Clearly taking advantage of the fact that she cannot react violently right now. He then asks her who her enemy is, and she says it's Taniyama. He then says that's not true. She is her worst enemy. And he wants her to channel the coolest version of herself. Yeah, straight from the chillin' corners of Russia. Taniyama's the first to go, and she opens her line with a method of member selection. She thinks that this method's crap, and the student council should only select the tippiest of toppiest of students. Kuze's out here acting like she made any good logical points here. I only heard that, and it's kind of Just because they smart don't mean they good. Her delivery is met with a loud, roaring applause, though, because everyone is stupid with not thinking of their own. Alisa starts her version debunking the very first proposition made by Taniyama that members should be selected through a review process. She makes a point that the president and vice president are widely accepted as popular model figures. They themselves are a product of a fair election process. She paints the right to vote as the most authentic form of authority. Basically, Alya came here to play politics at the very tippiest of toppiest of levels. Kuze is proud of what she has done so far, and even now they think they haven't gained the edge yet, no? Which really gives you a good understanding on how dumb the audience is. That cold stare from Taniyama, though, she really is not enjoying this. I'm letting Kuze know it all with that death stare. The way people look at me anytime I take a foot outside. Taniyama raises a dumb question once again, which is once again met by Alya in her perfect response. Kuze says she completely misjudged this whole deal. Her opponent was supposed to be Alya. Yeah, she was too focused to take a crap on Kuze. She once again makes the most stupid argument about what would happen if the president and vice president went berserk. What the frick is this, Zootopia? Oh no, watch out guys, the full moon's tonight. Stay away from the student council president. Oh, but Alisa's weird here. Alisa's the weird one. This triggers the audience to think that Alya, in the end, is just an outsider and doesn't know much. She would never understand how we work. Alya needed one bad moment to completely cave and let the pressure get the better of her. Her mind goes blank. She's about to pass out when Kuze takes over because, of course, he has to have his cool moment, progress their romance somehow. He points out to the president and makes an example out of him, calling him a pathetic loser who transformed himself into a painfully forgettable character in his own show. He claims that the president only got to this level because of the current election system and with the support they showed. I mean, that's not really true when he clearly admitted that he did it all for a woman. The president has enough of this and asks if they can move to the final debate, but Taniyama just runs away. I have to say, she might be the worst character this whole season. She came in all high and mighty with the challenge and then ran away when it didn't go as planned. The first moment, the first sign of things not going according to plan, just skedaddle. Of course. Alisa runs after her because she needs to win those merit points no matter what. Minnie admits their loss and drops their initial proposition. Long story long, they came out victorious, which really shouldn't surprise anyone. We get a small retrospective here into Taniyama's thoughts where she thinks Yuki and Kuze are the perfect match. She claims them to be the perfect couple, completely unaware of the fact that they are siblings. Whenever Alisa stops her, Taniyama goes on her useless rant, but she's crying here, so I'll give her a pass. I was ready to completely bring down the recap rant upon her head, but I'm too tired. She does admit that she put herself in this humiliating situation, which you did. You sure did. You should have used your brain. Not that you have one. I'm sorry. I need to lay off the gas. Minnie asks Alisa to leave it all to her, and as she leaves, she says that she wants to live up to Kuze's expectations. Yuki watched all this unfold. She's not impressed at all. She thinks Kuze could have ended this way before it began. Ayana doesn't think that way, and Yuki gets a bit angry and goes on a full-on rant, revealing that she is a complete control freak. Alisa later tells him that she'll prove Taniyama wrong and make her acknowledge the fact that Kuze chose Alisa because he saw something in her. Yes, he saw them ego. She seriously asks him why he chose Alya over Yuki, and Kuze already had the misfortune of running with Yuki once. He felt suffocated. Now that he had a choice, he went with the less suffocating option. He asks her why she wanted to run with him, and in Russian, she says she did it because it's him. She also tells him he's barely right about her being an E-cup. So what? Next episode, Grandpa the Boss asks Yuki about the recent general meeting that was held in school. He's aware that Kuze and Taniyama had a heavy bout, and it seems that no one told him that it was a one-sided fight once Kuze opened his mouth. He's kind of disappointed in Taniyama as he had this image of her from middle school, which he thinks makes him sound smart. But somehow, he did not have the image of Kuze, the man who actually won the whole debate. He reminds her that she must not lose no matter her opponent, even when Kuze's reputation has skyrocketed in the past recent few days. Well, I guess he does know Yuki is not as talented as he is, but he still expects her to beat him. While they're talking, the mother just looks like she's having the worst nightmare possible. Like, look at her face. She'd rather listen to anything else other than the old dude's voice. And Grandfather's like on a whole nother level of being a hater. He just doesn't digest the idea that Yuki could lose to Kuze ever in any universe. The mother asks her if she's been getting along with Kuze, and even when she says things are good, her heart is not satisfied. How would it be satisfied when the old man takes every single opportunity to crap on Yuze's name every time? Whenever Yuki goes to her room, she can finally release all the pent-up tension by rubbing her face on the maid's... What the frick? What? This show is so unhinged, man. Everyone in school is suddenly a big fan of Kuze. They surround him like the man has stuffed up his aura beyond limits. They ask him what his game plan is and how he turned things around against Taniyama, but if they were smart, they would know it's less about how smart Kuze was and more about how dumb Taniyama is. She came to the general meeting with no commitment and no real plan. She just wanted to piss on him. He redirects all the questions toward Alisa and goes on to play Genshin Impact, probably. Speaking of, this video was sponsored by Genshin. They don't really ask her any questions until Kuze signals whoever this guy is. He probably breaks the ice with her. We're not sponsored by Genshin, by the way. Remember that time we were sponsored by Raid? That was fracking hilarious. They slowly begin to come up with their own questions, and Alisa answers each one of them gracefully. They also make fun of Taniyama for running away the way she did, and they're very right about that. Go ahead, call her lame. But of course, our righteous protagonist does not like such talks. She asks him for a minute, and he already knows what she's about to say. I mean, what does she want him to do about them being critical of Taniyama's actions? It's something worth criticizing, by the way. She still says that she wants to help Taniyama, and he has no choice but to agree. He comes up with one impressive answer after another, and the president and couple hide under the desk, barely able to keep the excitement and themselves concealed. He's already aware of them, and it now makes it hard for him to deal with Alisa, who comes closer and closer. She's probably about to kiss him there, but he calls out the president couple and saves himself from any form of embarrassment or commitment. Kuze's first step to the Taniyama restoration plan is to get closer to her friend Nonoa, but she is a Gyadu who has a whole bunch of other Gyadus around her all the time. He just stands near the door until she specifically calls him out and asks if he needs something. She takes him somewhere else and asks him to get it over with quickly. If it's a confession, she's more than ready to accept, by the way. Her take on love and dating is rather weird, so not just Kuze, anyone who is on decent terms with her will get a chance. He comes to the point and wants to cool the situation with Taniyama. He makes it clear that he doesn't really care, but his princess does. Nonoa is actually more of an enigma than we thought she was, because she doesn't really care about the Taniyama hate either. They just want her to make up a reason for Taniyama's cowardice and spread it around like a rumor. She doesn't understand why he wouldn't do something like that, but agrees to do it anyway. He randomly calls out to Ayano, who had been hiding under the desk the entire time, and responds to him with such loyalty, even though she was spying on him. It's not just her, though. Yuki is also there with her cringe antics all over the place. She got a whiff of his visit with Nonoa and got ahead of him to see what all the hubbalubub was about. Hubbalubba what? He asks what the real reason is, and she simply wanted to roleplay a secret meeting inside the classroom. Yeah, that seems pretty much in character. Alia comes looking for him and sees that Yuki's already in the room. He gives him a suspicious look and completely changes her tone after seeing the three of them together. She leaves cursing him in Russian, which is painful for him to hear and easy for her to say, because remember, she still doesn't know that he understands it at all. Yuki makes it worse by role-playing into what she's probably thinking, and Ayano just looks at them in admiration, hoping she could learn a thing or two. But believe me, girl, there's nothing for you to learn from these people. Taniyama saw Nonoa very close to Kuze, and she got the wrong impression. She asks her if this is a different guy than last time, and instead of explaining it to her, she plays along and says he is only a boyfriend, and that was only a kiss. Only. Taniyama throws her phone away and cries as she asks her friend to stop degrading herself. I mean, you could have just said that to her without throwing your phone away. That was probably pretty expensive. Nonoa goes on to spread the rumors about why Taniyama left the debate like that, and she puts all the dirt upon herself. Meanwhile, Kuze tries to explain that he just happened to run into Yuki and Ayano, but Alia ain't buying any of it. He tries to make it up by proposing to study, and she gives him a little side-eye, but accepts anyway. They're in the council room together now, and Yuki goes there to ruin his mood yet again. She asks if they can join the session, and she secretly says that she minds. While in Japanese, she says it's okay for them to join, and continually says she just wanted it to be the two of them in Russian. The way he interacts with Ayano and the way they talk about him, also wonders if they're really just childhood friends or something more. Maria joins in too and grabs a hold of a book that the vice president confiscated. It's gotta have something to do with hypnotism, and then she's got Alice to try it on her. What? Where is this coming from? Why confiscate that book in the first? Did you just do it for no reason? Anyway, she turns down the request, after which she asks Kuze, and when he agrees, everyone just leaves their desk and flocks around him to see if it really works. He does every step properly, and I'm not really sure if Maria is really hypnotized or she's just playing games with him. It could really be either. Yuki says Alisa should try it with Kuze to make sure Maria's being real about it. She just loves to stir one drama after another, and great, now we're here. Now, we're here, we're in this bucket. It works on her too, and Yuki makes a very embarrassing request to them. What? Come on! Leaving Kuze and Alisa to be a part of Maria's harem? Just when you thought you escaped the harem clutches, brother. She also told them to get naked eventually, and after she takes off her skirt, Kuze breaks her free, but it doesn't work, and the VP walks in on them. Guys, what are we doing with our lives? She understands what's up, slaps both of the sisters, and they finally come back to their senses with only their shirts on. The great and mighty Kuze fights his urges to watch anime and pushes his way through a boring study session, even though he's not in the mood. Dude says he's forgotten how to work hard, but that's cap. That's cap, come on. He was just talking about Alisa when she gave him a call. She says it's nothing important and asks how his study session is going. Clearly, she's not in the mood either and is about to ask him for a study date. When he asks her, she says she hasn't lost her motivation, which is not true. If you had it, you wouldn't be calling him here just to hear his voice. She asks if he wants to place a bet, hoping to uplift his motivation with some stakes in hand. She says that she'll grant him any wish if he's able to crack the top 30 inside the school. Of course, if he fails to reach the level, then he'll have to grant her a wish. Not like that's going to be happening, but you know. He also manages to sneak in his birth date to her completely out of context to let her know when she can give him a kiss as a present. Oh, look at that sly dog. Even though he doesn't want to pursue anything, he still says, Oh, wait, no, I spoke too soon. His birthday's already gone, as she regrets not knowing it in time for her to make a wish. Brother, he makes the wish, not you. The exams are finally off, and he wants to know if she has any plans after school. They walk home together, and she discusses the closing ceremony speech. He's more interested in knowing why she's been acting rather strangely ever since the exam week had started. And she was sure that she was hiding her changes very carefully here, but he was concerned enough to notice it anyway. Aw. She thought she had him by asking that question, but he says he would be concerned since she is his precious partner. Are you sure we ain't feeling anything right now, bucko? The reason for her frown was his birthday party, since she's convinced that he had one and didn't invite her. The man shares a rather sad fact about not celebrating his birthday since elementary school. Since she's being so insistent, though, he offers to throw a birthday party, especially for her if she wants to attend it so badly. He notices that all of these strangers around here now at the party have their eyes on Alisa, who looks as radiant as ever. She's aware of it and even admits that she gets hit on a lot during her days off. She avoids them by talking in Russian until they eventually give up. He jokingly plants the idea that they're on a date, and she takes it seriously as he says this is her first one in Russian. He has to pretend that he didn't get that, but the man is flying inside, I imagine. He takes her to a fancy restaurant wanting to flex his knowledge as a native Japanese man, but she knows this place. In fact, she's already been here with her family before. They go inside anyway, and he recaps what they're supposed to say for the closing ceremony. He says the ceremony doesn't have any voting, but a similar impact in comparison. What the frick does that mean? Each speech will be met with a loud applause by the audience, signifying the party they are rooting for. This means a group can go without a single clap to their name and basically understand they aren't winning jack diddly squat. He still thinks they won't get the same level of applause as Yuki, but he's not entirely pessimistic about their chances. He wants to aim for the first spot as much as possible, as he thinks their speech will set the bar for Yuki to cross. And personally, I think she will not just cross it, she will somersault above it with grace! He says they still have alternative ways to tackle them, like attacking the mental state of Yuki and Ayano, which I don't think will work at any level. He makes a toast to her and says they can enjoy this meal as a commemoration of his birthday party, which was 3 months ago, but hey, better late than never. She asks him about the recent rumors regarding Nonoa, and he's not entirely honest about it. He says she came up with those rumors on her own, which is true, but he kinda asked her to do it, so maybe don't leave that part out, little white liar. Well, okay, now he admits he was behind it and wishes there was a better way. Yes, there was. The better way was to just let Taniyama eat all the dirt and suffer the consequences of her stupid actions. She doesn't mind it and even thanks him for being helpful when it matters. She's no longer hesitant when it comes to calling her cute or teasing him by hand-feeding using her own spoon. She came here with all the preparation in the world, even getting him a mug as a gift. I guess I was wrong about the preparation because mug as a gift is the most unprepared thing in the world. That's what you choose when you have to bring a gift to a party, but you don't know who the party's for. It's either a mug or a gift card. She says this is a set pair of mugs, and she already uses one of them in her home. Of course, she was only teasing him to see his reaction, and she totally won that round. It feels like every time they're about to do a meeting on the council, Masha here takes it as an opportunity to serve tea. She's less interested in what they had to say, what they're supposed to do. She is all about the tea. Ayano tries to help her, but Masha asks her to sit down, which is the biggest insult to her as the maid. The president has made some substantial progress on their summer report, and he plans to release the news of brand new uniforms. And he says it's all thanks to Chisaki. Kuze thinks Masha's still unhappy with him regarding the whole hypnosis incident. Oh yeah, that happened. He helps her clean up and apologizes for his actions. She's fine with it all, except for the fact that he kind of saw a few things that he wasn't supposed to yet. She leaves after her mother calls, and Kuze is left alone with the dishes and one freakster who finally finds alone time with him. He keeps ignoring her, and she drops her cool demeanor and goes into her little sister mode. She thinks he's been ignoring her for too long and having fun with Alya. She demands some love from him. I need you to be more specific, especially you. I need you to be more specific, fricker. Their grandfather's finally here, and holy frick, dude's got drip. Holy cow! The man is dressed like a smooth criminal. That's clearly the Muzan fit. To top it all off, he's bald. His pop spots Alya and gets a bit too excited to see a beautiful Eastern European. Alya's mother also gets to meet Kuze, and yeah, cool. Grandpa directly goes to Alisa, asks if she wants to marry Kuze and be his granddaughter. Back up, Gramps. And at last, Kuze comes face to face with his mother. And he doesn't really like seeing her. Bro really just gritted his teeth right on the spot. Can you blame him? We turn our wheels down memory lane for Kuze, who rushes to his house and shows his mark sheet to his mom after scoring a perfect 100. She had a minimal bit of praise for him, and even when he did great on his piano performance, she still had a very disappointed look on her face. He started to think being near perfect was not a satisfactory result for his mother, and he continued working harder to hone his skills. One day, she just came to him and asked him to stop playing, which as a kid must be a memory worth of PTSD. Like, imagine playing your little heart out to impress your mom, who just asks you to stop. He then wakes up after this bad dream and notices it was so bad that he got a cold. Alisa's outside his room after hearing he was down from a cold, and it was Yuki who told her to get the dude some medicine. He'd rather just take the meds from inside and not let her in, but Alisa's somewhat offended at that thought since she came all the way over here to pamper him. She comes to his room, says it smells like a guy, but in Russian, of course. She gives him two choices and explains why those choices are good for him. He's kind of forced into choosing borscht, and she wants him to wait 4 whole hours for it. What kind of borscht is she planning to make? The frick you doing for 4 hours? He decides to go with regular porridge instead, and she don't care. She notices that he's been using the cup that she initially gave him as a gift here in the kitchen, and she brings him the food. As he munches on, she obviously has a few questions for the dude. So he instantly realizes what she's about to ask and says, no, he don't have a mom, dad's out at work, basically just 2 dudes in his household. She doesn't plan on leaving anytime soon, said she'll be studying in the living room if he needs anything. Sick people shouldn't have to worry about unnecessary worries. That's everyone. Worrying unnecessarily is so exhausting. Just worrying in general, you know, it's like, not even unnecessarily, just like, is there a necessary worry? I mean, I guess. Man, I don't get paid enough to ask these questions. Takes a nap, wakes up a bit late, thinks she might have gotten home by now, but no, she's actually still there with Ayano now, and both of them are in their maid mode. She gets a bit too close for comfort, and Alyssa thinks that she should maintain some distance as she's Yuki's maid, not his. She doesn't care much about what Alya has to say here, since she got strict orders from Yuki to take care of Kuze. She wants to take over from here and asks Alyssa to take her leave. She don't say much and decides to go home after leaving him in her care. Really? Wow, just gonna give up. She's pretty good at caretaking, go figure. a lot better than Alya at least, since she offers to wipe his body down whilst closing her eyes. That right there is a truly skilled maid. She's insistent on being near him until he orders her to go and sleep in Yuki's room. Whenever he wakes up the next day, he notices something inconsistent with the meds Ayano had been giving him. He reads the deets to see if this med actually makes him sleepy. In other words, Yuki deliberately sent her to give him this medication so he would sleep overtime. She's not great at hiding. She was instructed to give him these meds with all the ill intentions in mind. He doesn't even bother identifying which of Yuki or Alya gave her this idea. All he knows is he's missing something at school right now. He's even more frantic after Ayano says he might be too late for something big, so he rushes to the class and sees Alya already in a bad mood. She says that she's sorry for failing even after he tried so hard. Dang. Yuki invited her to their midday broadcast the day before when she was handing out the medicine to her. Alisa initially declined the offer, but Yuki was very persuasive in certain... Why, dude? So freaky. She's so freaky. Yuki's also picked up on the fact that they've been working hard to shrug off their victory at the general meeting. She thinks Alisa's being a bit too relaxed going up against someone like Yuki, and she really has that evil main boss big boy aura to her when she cranks out this smile. Yuki then goes on to provoke Alya, claiming that she's completely defenseless when Kuze is not around. Alisa definitely does not like that, and she thinks that she's being looked down upon, which she is. She's even more motivated to take part in whatever Yuki has cooking up for her, but little does she know, she's She's probably falling into this fricker's trap. Yuki successfully baited her into thinking she could do much even without Kuze by her side, which is a big mistake because Kuze's been low-key carrying this whole presidential campaign from day one. Whenever the guest talk happened, Yuki was like a completely different person who kept apologizing to her for being a backstabber. She then went on to say that she has a good reason to win this presidential election. She opens up about having an older brother. He was more than she could ever be, so her parents and grandparents alike had high hopes for him. She says her brother's gone now and she has taken his place. And this completely throws Alia off her game. When they ask her about her reasons to be the student council president, Alisa does not have an answer. They went on air after that, and Alisa went on to make a complete mess out of all of this. She fell hook, line, and sinker. Kuze still asks her to keep a cool head, and from the looks of it, he can probably still fix things. He thinks it's not as bad as she thinks, and Yuki could have done a lot worse if she really wanted to. She just wanted to play with Alia a little, and boy did she succeed. Whenever she looks at him, he has the same villainous look on his face after realizing his sister has been playing very tough chess with him. She still thinks Yuki's reason is a lot more noble compared to her, and her own reason is somewhat selfish. Kuze has to get down on his knees to tell this woman in a very polite way that they can't back down after stirring drama to this level. Alice is convinced after his words and has very kind words for her late brother, the same brother who is seated just beside her. Tanigama, or whatever her name was, comes to them and expresses her deepest apologies for being the most dislikable character for 2 episodes straight. Taniyama, or whatever her name was, doesn't want to take her consequences so lightly and wants to do something to properly regret her decisions. Kuze doesn't want any more drama than the one he's already dealing with and proposes an alternative. She doesn't want to support their cause still and would rather see him make a run with Yuki. He barely says anything to change her mind, but Taniyama cannot tarnish herself more than she already has, and she agrees to his cause. With this, Kuze thinks that she has what it takes to win and wants to win in a rather dominant fashion. So they're inside the hall practicing her speech where Kuze sits and acts like he's the audience. He thinks that she'll do just fine with this much preparation. They'll be fine as long as she can do this exact same thing at the actual event as well. She thinks just her abilities will not be enough. She saw what he was able to do in the general meeting and she wonders what she should do to be able to talk like him. He says it just comes with experience. Which, I mean, yeah, I can understand that. He still shares a secret to calm her nerves, though, which there probably is no secret to begin with. He just made one up on the fly, but it works! But we don't get to know what it is right now because he whispers it to her in a matter of 2 seconds and we never hear it. Yuki and Aino are also there, and this time the 2 siblings don't hide anything. They're enjoying having a banter fest over here. Kuze even tells Alisa to see her true nature and to not be surprised with it, which is so funny. Him making her look like a complete frackin' buffoon. And she don't even know it. They talk as if they're prepping to tear each other's throats out, but Alisa would still like to be Yuki's friend after everything settles. Optimally, anyway. Things got a little heated between Kuze and Yuki until the president came to break the tension. He asks what they want to do about the speech order. Last year, they settled the terms by playing rock, paper, scissors, but they also have the option to do a coin toss. Yuki's fine with anything, but Kuze thinks that you can still cheat at rock, paper, scissors with better eyesight. Better eyesight? What are you doing? Are you looking into the future? They are desperately trying to make us believe this is like peeking into Death Note levels of intellectual warfare at this point. They agree to do a coin flip and Kuze's not happy with Aino doing it. He does give the green light to Maria though. Yuki carefully contemplates in what order she should go. She wins the coin toss and she decides it's safe to go second and see what Kuze will do. His little provocation has her on the edge. She wins the coin toss and Maria asks her if she wants to go first or second. There really is no reason for her to think this hard when it comes to choosing a turn. He could be plotting anything in the world, but as long as you're in form, it doesn't matter. She deviates her attention from Kuze to Alia, who is her actual target for this showdown. Since she doesn't consider Alia to be much of a threat, she decides to go with her original plan of going first and targeting a landslide win. They settle down to the decision to let Yuki go first and the team of Alia go second. The event starts with a formal speech from the current student council members, including the president. They all join him in sharing their opinions on how the student council has been and how they have all enjoyed serving as their authorities. They then welcome Yuki to the stage, and she still has that pseudo main character aura around her as she asks Aino to take the stage with her. She starts with a rather simple goal in mind. She says that she wants to use her time in the student council to make this academy into something that reflects the opinions of the students. They all find her ambitions to be rather normal, including me. Where is she trying to go with this? She brings out the suggestion box and says that it's been a thing for a while now, but no one has made real use of it. Yuki's been promoting its existence throughout her broadcasts for a long time. She thinks the box is a waste of time, and Yuki's there to prove to them that it's not. She makes a point that the current student council is too busy to look at each request, but then she says that she'll be out there fulfilling every single one of them. which sounds like nothing but empty promises to me now. Even the current student council thinks that she only painted a rosy picture without getting into the deets, but the crowd is sold on her idea. We then move on to Ayano's speech, and she doesn't hide the fact that she is a servant to the Suo family. She's got nothing to say on why she chose her to be her running mate for any specific reason. She just tells them that it's her job and Yuki's a good master for her to look up to. Okay. The mediator then announces the name of Alisa. And I'm sorry, but she's got zero aura compared to Yuki, bro. Every time they show this back shot of hers, I'm not sold on the idea that she can do better than Yuki can. Dude, framing matters so much. But anyway, let's not sell her short right now. Everyone thinks Yuki killed her part, and she's set to be the next student council president already. According to her masterful plan, Alia tries to fight back by starting her part in her native language, Russian, and confuses everyone right off the bat. Let them cook, guys. Let them cook. Let's see where this goes. She makes her formal introductions in Japanese after she's done confusing them in Russian. She puts her points in with great confidence and says that she is someone who can work harder than anyone else, which is not true, as the whole show Kuze has worked harder than her. But again, we don't have to mention that. Let her cook. She says her stern and strict ways have sometimes led her to failure, yes. But she is someone who always learns from her mistakes. When? Sorry, I've seen 12 episodes of not that. I don't want to keep bashing her, but like, let her cook! She is content with losing now, but still hopes to have everyone's support when she runs for student council again, because she will, and she will never give up. Her speech is met with a roaring applause, and he praises her for being able to keep her cool and delivering such a good false speech, despite all the odds. All that's left now is for Kuze to give his speech, and I don't even have anything to say here. This whole show has been basically a glaze fest for Kuze, and they have continuously shoved the narrative of his genius down our gullets at every turn. He opens his mouth by claiming to be someone who has already worked with Yuki in the past. Since they obviously want to know why they've stopped working together, he's more than happy to give them a reason. It has more to do with why he chose Alia rather than why he dumped Yuki. He says the student council president should be an honest person who can attract others, and in his eyes, Alia is honest. She's attractive in everyone's eyes, so he doesn't have to come out and say that. He also claims that if Alisa wins this election, then Taniyama and the Gyaru will also join their ranks, which comes as a surprise to everyone. It's not just a fluke though, as Kuze did bring them over to the stage to confirm that, yeah, no, he's spitting facts. Yuki accepts her defeat and admits that she overcalculated things. Next time, Fricker, do rock, paper, scissors. As for their bet, Kuze did not make it to the top 30, and now Alia can wish for anything she wants. Only problem with that is, she didn't think that she'd win. He musters up his courage and says he'll be alone over the summer vacation and asks if they can see each other more often. She says that she would be very glad, and that finally brings us to the end of Alia Speaks Russian. I literally forgot the name of the show.